The wind had teeth that winter, sharp enough to cut through bone, and it howled across the plains like it was searching for something it had lost long ago. Elias Crow pulled his coat tighter as he guided his horse through the pale desert, every breath fogging the air, every mile heavier than the last. He had learned not to expect mercy from seasons or people. Winters came, people left, and loneliness stayed. That was how it had always been since the night his world broke in two. Years ago, during a blizzard much like this one, he had lost both his wife and infant daughter when their wagon overturned near the canyon road. He survived with frost-bitten fingers and a heart that never healed. They never found the baby's body. Some said she must have been taken by the storm, others said by wolves. Elias said nothing at all. From that night on, he refused company, refused kindness, refused hope. Each winter he told himself the same lie: survive this one, then maybe the next will be easier. But winter never softened, and neither did the silence that waited for him at the end of every day. That afternoon, as the sky dimmed into a bruised gray, Elias noticed something unusual near the rock formations ahead. His horse slowed on its own, ears twitching, nostrils flaring. Then he heard it, a sound so small it almost vanished into the wind. Crying. Not the howl of an animal, not the groan of shifting stone, but a child's sob, thin and fragile, clinging to life. Elias dismounted, heart pounding in a way it hadn't in years. He followed the sound to a shallow rocky overhang where he saw her. A little girl, no more than 8 or 9, curled against the stone, her dress torn and soaked, her hair matted with dust and tears. She was shaking violently, lips blue, arms wrapped around herself as if trying to disappear. Elias froze. He had seen hunger. He had seen death, but this felt like fate reaching out and grabbing him by the throat. He knelt slowly, careful not to frighten her, and spoke words he hadn't spoken to a child since the night he had lost his own. "Don't cry, little one," he said, his voice rough, unused. At the sound, the girl flinched, then slowly lifted her head. Her eyes met his, wide and dark, reflecting fear, exhaustion, and something else, something that made Elias's breath catch painfully in his chest. Her face, the curve of her eyes, the small scar above her brow, the way her lower lip trembled when she tried not to cry. It was impossible, and yet it felt like being struck by lightning. She looked exactly like the woman he had loved, and like the child he had lost. For a moment, the world tilted. Memories flooded him so fast he thought he might fall. His wife's laugh, the weight of his baby daughter sleeping against his chest, the promise he had made to protect them both. "Papa," the girl whispered, her voice barely louder than the wind. The word shattered him. Elias reached out, then stopped, afraid this was some cruel trick of the cold, some hallucination born of grief and loneliness. "What's your name?" he asked instead, swallowing hard. "Anna," she said. The name hit him like a blow. That was his daughter's name, the same name they had carved into a wooden toy that was now buried somewhere beneath the snow of another winter long past. Elias pulled off his coat without thinking and wrapped it around her small shoulders. She didn't resist. Instead, she leaned into him, as if she had been waiting for this moment all her life. She told him in broken words that her parents had died on the road weeks ago, that she had been traveling with traders who abandoned her when she fell sick, that she had hidden from wolves and men who looked at her like she was something to be taken. Elias listened, each word carving deeper into his chest. When he lifted her into his arms, she felt impossibly light, too light, like she might vanish if he loosened his grip. As the first snowflakes began to fall, Elias made a decision he had sworn never to make again. He turned his horse towards home. not toward another winter alone, but toward a chance, however impossible, at redemption. The cabin hadn't heard laughter in years. Dust lay thick on the shelves, and the firewood stack had grown smaller with each lonely season. But when Elias pushed open the door with Anna in his arms, something shifted. The fire crackled louder. The walls seemed to breathe again. He set her down near the hearth, wrapped her in blankets, and watched as color slowly returned to her cheeks. She ate like someone who had forgotten what warmth felt like, every bite careful, grateful. Elias sat across from her, studying her face in the flickering firelight, searching for answers he wasn't sure he wanted. That night, after Anna fell asleep clutching his coat, Elias sat awake until dawn. He thought of the question that haunted him. Was this coincidence, or was it something more? Days passed, then weeks. Winter pressed hard against the cabin walls, but inside, life returned in small, fragile ways. Anna followed Elias everywhere, asking questions, helping with chores, humming songs she said her mother used to sing. Each song sounded achingly familiar. One afternoon, while mending a broken chair, Anna rolled up her sleeve, and Elias saw it, a tiny birthmark shaped like a crescent moon on her shoulder. His hands went numb. His daughter had been born with the same mark. There was no denying it now. Somehow, against all reason, the child the storm had stolen had found her way back to him. The truth came slowly. A traveler arrived weeks later and told Elias of a woman found years ago near the canyon, badly injured, carrying a baby. She had died days later, but the child survived and was taken in by distant relatives, passed from hand to hand, never truly belonging anywhere. The storm hadn't taken Anna. Life had scattered her. Elias wept for the first time in years, grief and gratitude colliding until he could no longer tell them apart. When he told Anna the truth, she listened quietly, then climbed into his lap and placed her small hand on his chest. "I knew you'd come," she said simply. Winter ended that year, not just in the land, but in Elias's heart. He stopped seeing the world as something that only took from him. He began to give again. He taught Anna how to ride, how to read the sky, how to find beauty in quiet places. And in return, she taught him how to hope. On the first warm day of spring, Elias stood outside the cabin, watching Anna laugh as she chased butterflies through melting snow. He realized something then. Miracles don't always come loudly. Sometimes they arrive as a small, crying child under a rock, waiting for someone brave enough to listen. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that even after the coldest winters, life can surprise you with warmth and meaning, then don't forget to support this channel. Subscribe, like, and share, because every story you watch helps keep these moments alive and reminds us all that no one has to face another winter alone.